Hey YouTube, how's it going? Well, you ever heard the phrase, all good things come to an end? Yeah. Isn't it really annoying that that statement is almost always true? Yeah, I hate that too. Well, last month, some amazing people did something totally unexpected and very amazing in that they donated enough to me that I was able to get some propane, to get my propane tank filled yesterday, last month. Yesterday, yeah, right. Anyway, and so I was able to get my propane tank filled. And that meant that I could have something I had not yet had this winter, heat in my home. I could actually not be freezing every minute. And so, what I did with that, I gave myself 48 hours because I figured after the winter I had been through so far, I deserved it. I gave myself 48 hours with the thermostat set at 70 degrees. After that 48 hours, I turned it down to 65. And I left it that way for about 2 weeks or so, I believe it was. Most of that time I was sick and anyway, after a couple of weeks, I turned it down to 60 degrees. And the reason I was doing this turning it down thing is the idea is to make the fuel last as long as possible. Last week I turned it down to 55. And a couple days ago I turned it down to 50. Tonight I turned it off. And the reason for that is I went out this afternoon and I checked the tank. I've been doing that every now and then, go out there and check and see how much is in the tank. When they filled it, it went to 80% because that's as far as they'll fill it. When I went out this afternoon, it was a little less than 20%. It's hard to be certain and exact because it is an analog gauge, a very old analog gauge, but it's at roughly a little less than 20%. If I were to leave the furnace on, even at 50 degrees, that tank would be empty by the end of the week. So, I decided that at this point, it would be better to turn the furnace off and still have a little bit of fuel that I could use for hot water, so that I would at least have hot water for another month or so. Because have you ever tried to clean dishes and clothes, and worse yet, yourself, with cold water in the winter? It's not very productive. Yeah. And I know, yes, I can heat hot water, I can heat water on the stove, and I've done that, and it's a royal pain in the butt, and it's not very effective. So, that's the state of that. And I don't see how I could possibly ask anyone to donate again. That's a pretty big donation, and I couldn't possibly ask anyone to do that. So I just have to turn that thing off and deal with the bloody effing cold as well as I can until the weather starts to warm up, presumably sometime in March. I certainly hope so. Anyway, that's about the state of that. Let's see, I've got a bunch of stuff going on the Hermitcraft Infinity server. I have started a series in which I am doing tutorials in Thaumcraft. One of the really cool magic mods that is included in the pack. And I know a lot of people have difficulty getting started with that, so I've decided to do this series of tutorials to kind of walk through learning the stuff about how to do stuff with Thaumcraft, how to do the research, and what is a good order to do things in, and so on and so forth, and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that will be really good. Meanwhile, in Kerbal Space Program, whatever. I'll learn to talk one of these days. In Kerbal Space Program, the first components of a satellite, a space station, has been launched. And there will be more components launched in upcoming episodes. There will be more space stations launched. I have plans for at least 5 of these things, and they are all of them going to be pretty good sized. All of them manned with a fair number of Kerbals. And they will be in several different places. Anyway, that's what's going on tonight. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.
Here's the tinfoil strip.